at this point, who here that is not selected to come here and pitch wants to pitch to David at the end? Just raise hands. So I'm kind of encouraging you to think about it, get ready mentally. It's like a, it's like a mental thing. After the company's pitch, we'll pick one person to go up here and pitch randomly. You can put it down. So our first company is Monel Amin here with Diligence Vault. So I picked B2B, B2C companies. It's a B2B company. Yeah. So here you go. You have 4 minutes. Thank you. And let's encourage her.
Yes.
My name is Monel, and I'm founder of Diligence Vault, a technology platform for due diligence. And David here, by giving his background, made my pitch so much more easier at the beginning of it. This platform sits between fund managers, such as venture capital firms, hedge funds, private equity funds, other types of private equity funds, and their end investors, which are the LPs that firms like NextView Partners are raising capital from. So that process of due diligence, when fund managers raise money from LP investors, is a very, very manually intensive process. Because it's a very complex investment decision, investors go through lengthy questionnaires, a lot of site visits, a lot of follow-ups, and a lot of this process happens in emails and documents. So it's a lot of unstructured data. So what ends up happening is funds and teams within the funds prepare these due diligence documents with their lawyers, their accountants, their investment people, their technology people, and then send it over to the LPs, who are the investors, who are the pension funds, endowments, family offices of the world. And then the LPs then extract information from these documents, which are relevant to their decision making, and then they prepare their internal memos, or they save it in their internal systems. But there's a lot of manual data entry into the document, and then out from the document into their people's systems, so it's all rekeying information. Also, a lot of the investment decision making is also based on privately available information. So there is very limited amount of information available on the funds in public domain. And most of the due diligence that happens between an investor and a fund is usually bilateral. So when I say it's bilateral, there isn't a lot of sharing that happens between investors and managers. So because of a lot of these inefficiencies, arriving at a due diligence process or a decision for the investment takes many months and many thousands of dollars and many, many due diligence meetings. It's a very, very inefficient process, very, very manually intensive. I've lived it both as someone who was looking to raise monies from LPs as well as someone who has made LP allocations. And when I projected the problem that I was facing to the industry, I realized the...
You have 4 minutes. Great. And of course, we're going to encourage him. Let's go.
So I'm here to speak to you about Dynamite app. It is a brand new mobile video app. It is a sharing and messaging platform, and it's all about the mask. Inspired by Oscar Wilde's quote that when you give a man a mask, you get the truth. So the very short, simple idea with Dynamite is that it is a one-on-one messenger. It is a private group messenger. It's also a public environment of people recording videos and replying back and forth to one another in other videos with GIFs and text. It's a full multimedia platform messaging service. And the way it works is, in a little nod to Douglas Adams, videos in the app are 42 seconds long. So it's long enough to tell a little bit of the story, not so long that you want to know when it's going to end. But the driving differentiator for us right now are masks. And within the app right now, there are 200 different masks. The popular ones this week are Donald Trump, Kylie Jenner, Baby Jesus and Santa are both trending, and it's quite a fun product. We launched the app in August at New York Tech Meetup. Since August, we've had 50,000 registered users. Videos in the app in the last 16 weeks have been viewed more than 10 million times. Okay? As much of the story of the app itself as the team, there are 4 of us who are founders. I, the old guy. After a successful career at Comedy Central, I'm so old, I'm the guy who registered at ComedyCentral.com. Okay? I left Comedy Central to start a digital music company called Music Maker that we successfully IPO'd. I went on and developed an ad platform for digital advertising that we recently sold to Fox. Immediately prior to Dynamite, I was the CMO launching Uvu Video Chat, which is very simply Skype for middle school kids. Right? Today, Uvu, we now have 100 million users of video chat at Uvu. My primary partner in the venture is Joshua Dern, a buddy of mine, who ran social media at MTV for 5 years. He's also the designer of HBO Go, and an incredible product guy while he was at Huge. Third partner in the group is Adam Beglin, who is the founder and CEO of something called CensorNet, which is an enormous security video platform. He's one of the great gods of mobile video engineering. He holds 10 patents, PhD in computer science. He's also the founder and CTO of Truvio and Inktomi. And the fourth founder is a gentleman named Paul Vidic, who ran Digital Warner Music for 19 years. He's on the board of Brightcove. We are all deeply, deeply committed to our market segment, which is in fact mobile video. Because we know what millennials know, and we've been making products for millennials for so long, which is that in the 13 to 19-year-old market, more than half of all the video they consume on their mobile phones is created by their peers. And that's what we're all here about, peer-to-peer creation of mobile video. Thus far, we've raised $1.6 million, much of it from us, to get this to a point where we would have traction and a story to tell. Yep. And most of the funding outside of us comes from a syndicate that was put together by a partner at Boulder Ventures, group of angels. So we are out now looking for a couple $1 million in a seed round and really looking for that hands-on, high-touch seed stage partner who can give us the fuel to grow and be our partner and advocate as we go to our Series A. And it is, of course, let me just say, spelled dynamite, like dynamite in the dictionary. And the name was inspired, when we first launched this product, we called it Confess, with the idea that with a mask, people could use the app to confess stories, complain, confide. Yeah. And we evolved it into Dynamite after watching the James Brown documentary, because who better than Mr. Dynamite, right? That's our story.
I'm curious, what was the key insight that you had at OLO that led you to come up with the mask and this as the hook for building a social experience around it?
Sure. The desire to create video that lasts, even though it may not last forever. Yeah. The ability to create videos that last for some period of time, rather than Uvu, which instantly disappears. Yeah. Like video chat disappears even faster than Snapchat, right? And so many of our users were creating elaborate experiences in Uvu and complaining that they couldn't record them. Mm-hmm. Because that, of course, wasn't the point of that product. Yeah. Right? So if you give people an opportunity to record those experiences in a longer format than Vine, right? In a longer format than Instagram, and in a more public venue than Snapchat, because most stories never make it into a Snapchat story, right? So the thought that instigated was actual teams wanting to create content, and the mask itself was created and really pushed by us as the idea of creating the editorial spark. Right? When you put a mask in an app, you invite someone to share their story about Donald Trump, right, or about I Stand with Planned Parenthood is in the app too. Yeah. There are all kinds of things across the spectrum. You could be Bernie Sanders if you want. You can be, Kylie, Kim, and Kanye. Yeah. So it's an editorial input. Yeah. Is really what it's all about.
Yeah, that's helpful. And then fast forward 4 years from now. What do you want this company to become? Like,
oh my goodness!
I'm curious about just the ultimate vision, because this one is there's the initial hook, but then there's something bigger here. So I'm curious how you think about it.
There is truly something bigger here. What we think is so exciting is combining the ability to do one-on-one private messaging, like is happening across the board, but also syncing that with a public viewing platform. Right? Imagine if you could message people within YouTube, but also then share the stories you wanted to with a bigger audience. And by combining video and GIFs and text, what shocks us is that other apps aren't doing a lot of that. That there are competitors obviously in our space, but the video apps only do video. Well, 90% of the responses we get back are gifts.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the vocabulary of teens. So to not allow that seems counter to what they're desiring.
And then how you, the 50,000 folks on so far, wherever they come from, or how do you think about distribution?
Sure, the distribution process has been really one of mass experimentation.
Yep.
I came from a product where I was spending over $10 million a year on marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it brought me a lot of knowledge, and then went out and said, well, every dollar I spend is mine, we're going to spend this dollar differently. So it's about content marketing today. The beauty is that the users create content in the app that they want to share publicly, and then they share them within Facebook and Twitter and other places, and that's a magnet bringing in users. So this weekend we have some user who makes Kylie Jenner beauty secrets.
Yeah.
Can't make this stuff up, and they're funny. Okay, so this weekend 200,000 people viewed Kylie Jenner's beauty secrets on the Dynamite Facebook page. Okay, so that's the spark driving it. The other thing which really I did take from Ubu is the private messaging aspect of Dynamite is the viral component, because I discover Dynamite, I record a video, I send it to David, David's like, what are you talking about? Oh, all right, so my friend Larry wants me to do this, I'll click on it, and then I check out.
Right.
And hijinks ensues.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
It's good. I'm going to be a user later tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's always the first hand. Yes.
Yeah.
What does baby Jesus look like?
If you wanted the truth, when I said I wanted baby Jesus, I said I was very specific. I wanted Caravaggio.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good job. Great. So our next company is Kelly Russell Malsey is here. Okay, he made it. Great. So you have 4 minutes starting now. There you go. Thank you.
Hi. Stop clapping, you're using up my 4 minutes, okay? So my name's Callie, I have a very different accent because we're from Scotland, and I have literally just made it, not from Scotland, but from the other side of town. So I'm the founder and the CEO of a company called Malsey, and Malsey is a personal shopping app. I'm really, really happy because you've all worn clothes to come along today, which is fantastic, which potentially means that you're all a user, or soon to be a user of Malsey. Malsey is basically Tinder for clothes. So we use that swiping interaction. We're the first people to have ever taken it from where they did to across into a clothing market to help people find clothes that suit them. Every one of us in here today has a very individual and very unique style, and so far in life, in a lot of places, especially with mobile apps, they set it as saying, you know what, you are urban, or you are this sort of style, or you are, you know, this age, or you this type of clothes. What we do is we take every single swipe that you make within the app to tailor an experience just to you. So from that, we basically find out your favorite stores, your favorite sort of sizes, all of that level of information to then show you the products that suit you. What we then do is everything that you say that you like gets saved away for later, and if the price drops, we send you a push notification. We're currently a UK-based company, but we're looking to do more stuff over here, and we've now grown to a team of 20 people over there and just raised over $4 million. We have over 400,000 shoppers from all over the world already, and more importantly, we have over 200 different retailers. And today we're really keen on talking about what we're doing for retailers. So we started off as a B2C product because we thought, you know what, we can help people dress better and we can help people find fantastic clothes. But we've ended up actually being a B2B play, which actually looks and helps retailers use all of the data that we generate to understand their customers better and actually help improve their marketing, merchandising, and buying. Over Black Friday weekend, we were seeing over 75 products rated every single second. It's a huge treasure trove of data and knowledge that can help them decide on what to promote, where, when, and how. We now allow them access to their own individual dashboards that enables them to use that data in a fun and interesting way. What do I mean like that? Well, over the last couple of months, we've been able to pinpoint exact changes within trends. So we know the day that hot pants became acceptable again. And that helps our retailers market better and merchandise better by reflecting the price and also what they're bidding on. So why are we pitching here today? Well, we're pitching here today because we want to come and do more in the US. We've already been featured by the likes of Fox News, Harper's Bazaar. Elle magazine actually called us better than sex. So there we go.
one, it sounded like things were going well in the consumer destination. Why flip the model around to be business focused?
So from our point of view, obviously we charge a commission on everything we sell, and we have a really nice consumer base sort of growing with that as well. But when you find with a lot of kind of shopping-based models or affiliate-driven models is that you're living on a really small percentage curve, and you then try to scale on that becomes a hugely difficult proposition.
Yep.
So what we did was we actually built a model that allowed us to go the stage past that. What we've also discovered, especially with retailers, is that they're really protective over that commission or that kind of percentage point on that. And what they're really worried about is people cannibalizing their market. So what we've actually done is we've actually created a product and offering for them that, one, does help them sell more, and we don't push for massively increased commissions, but more importantly, helps them sell more and better, not just with us, but across their whole estate.
And how, on the consumer side, how do you think about engagement over time, right? I mean, how do you address the risk that there's fatigue? You do it a couple of times, you do it, and then how do you get people coming back after a long while?
On average, a user with us rates 160 different products in a single session.
Yep.
So it's a highly addictive kind of proposition. Someone today, when we said that, actually said, I kind of rate more women when I'm using Tinder, which I thought was quite funny, but questioned his kind of quality benchmark at that sort of stage. What we found in terms of getting people to engage and come back on a more consistent basis is that whole thing about price drop alerts. So everything you save gets saved away for later, and that's a great pool of you getting you coming back into the product.
Yeah, that's fun.
What we've also discovered and what we've also put in place is that some shoppers or some people just want to look at everything they can see in terms of black jeans really quickly. So they can switch off the Tinder style swiping and just browse through everything if they're doing a search.
Yeah.
So when on Tinder, you look at people and you meet them in real life, you realize, oh, maybe they look great, but it does not really, like, doesn't really fit. How do you deal with that?
I really want to see you dating now, to be honest with you, based on that question. So for us, it's the same sort of thing. So for me as a consumer, I'm quite a different size of jeans in lots of different stores. Okay, so what we've now done, and it's just about to come out in our next release, is a new way of doing size filtering. A lot of places, when they ask you for size, they ask you for one size and tailor it to that. What we do is we actually allow you to program in multiple different sizes for like different retailers, and then only show you the stuff that is available in your size from that retailer. For in terms of the consumer end and the return side of things, for the retailers, you deal directly with them. We have a customer support team, so if you want to know how to return something back to a retailer, you can ping us on Twitter, you can ping us on Facebook, you can drop us an email, and someone will reply to you straight away, helping you return that product.
Great. Congrats.
Next, we have Manuela Zoninski with Ag Valley. How do you say it? The company name? Ag Valley. Great, thank you. You have 4 minutes.
Hi everybody, my name is Manuela Zonenstein, and I'm the co-founder and chief marketing officer of Ag Valley. We're an online marketplace for agricultural technology, or ag tech. And today I'm going to tell you a story about 3 men. I'm uniquely qualified to tell you about these 3 men because I was born in Brazil. I've been passionate about agriculture since I was 18 and worked at the Chicago Board of Trade growing up. And I can tell you about the pain that Bob, Victor, and Alexandre are facing. So first we have Bob. Bob sells ag tech. Think tractors, irrigation systems, fertilizers. He's in the United States. He needs to grow his revenues. He needs to enter new markets, especially the markets that are booming and need access to the best global agricultural technologies. Second, we have Victor. Victor is a reseller or a distributor of fertilizer in Ubatuba, São Paulo state. He makes about $3 million in revenues selling fertilizer to about 3,000 farmer clients locally, and he's having a really hard time staying competitive for his farmer clients, and he spends half his time in procurement. Then we have his farmer client Alexandre. He manages a 1,000-hectare farm. He needs to increase yields. He understands that there's much better fertilizer products out there. He's getting tired of waiting for Victor to solve that problem. That's where Ag Valley comes in. With our online marketplace, we connect the best suppliers from around the world of agricultural technologies, starting with fertilizer, with Victor, and help him identify the best product in one-stop location for all of his farmer clients and manage all the data related to his farmer clients. So within a month time, we invited 870 distributors of fertilizer in Brazil. Over 12% came back to us and said, yes, we want to participate on your site. And then we asked 70 suppliers of fertilizer, 100% said yes in 2 days. And in that time, we've also gotten 3 commitments for $750,000 in trade, so $250,000 average trade. We make money on 3% commission and then 5% on recommendations or referrals to third-party service providers, like shipping companies. So our total addressable market is $130 billion, just focused on fertilizers globally. And the team is very, very well qualified, of course, to be in this space. Myself, I am the former CEO of Smart Agriculture Analytics, which I sold. It was a data analytics company focused on ag tech based in China. Our CEO, Alexandre, is a serial e-commerce entrepreneur. And then Avram is our COO. He's a PhD postdoc in biochem, has taken 2 American ag tech companies to Brazil successfully and managed them for 8 years. So in order to increase yield 70% by 2050, which is what the UN is projecting we have to do, we have to get the best inputs and equipment into the hands of farmers around the world. Come talk to me about Ag Valley and figure out how we can do that more quickly, more efficiently, and save money for everybody. Thanks.
So you're building a marketplace, so you need the supply side and the demand side. We found within our portfolio that, with 1 or 2 exceptions, but for the most part, the challenge in any marketplace business is on the demand side, not on the supply side. It sounds like that was the case in all the suppliers show up, but some of the demand side. How do you think about? It's a 2-part question, but how do you think about generating demand and getting that part going? And then in that context, it seems though the ag tech is very I'll say limited, but yeah, given the shipping and cost of shipping anything, whether it's equipment or fertilizer, the liquidity has to be in a very limited geographic set. Is that correct or not? And how do you think about the challenges kind of going from one geo to the next geo? Yeah. So 2 questions, demand and geo.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the reasons why we're really focused on Brazil, and we focus actually on São Paulo state to begin with, is trying to address in a very, very focused niche way the demand side. The supply side we're very confident with, especially I have thousands of relationships from my last business. Yep. So we're really focused on building local communities. It's online, but it's mobile first, and that is where the distributor is interacting with the farmer already. They're all 100% of our distributors use WhatsApp to communicate with their farmers. So we want to make that very easy for them. We haven't figured out exactly the functionality right now. It's a very simple menu of options, but maybe it would be a swipe option to make it really easy to narrow down that procurement process, which right now literally takes 2 weeks of every month for them to find one new product that they aren't even sure if it's the most appropriate product. So really it's about streamlining that process and making it really, really easy. And actually, because of my relationships in China and globally, we're able to access products that are lower price. And the take rate comes off of the supplier side, not on the buy side. So they're getting also not only a quality product quickly, but it's less expensive. And then in terms of geography, that's one of the reasons why we start with fertilizer. First of all, very little regulation and limitation around that, and it's pretty consistent. It's about the chemical composition of the product. So you can really list any product, and they trust the brand because that's what's existed before, is kind of the seal of approval. But it's actually, you can source your product from China, you can source your product from Israel, you can source your product from Canada, and it's basically all the same.
We're investors in a company called Farmeron, which is a SaaS application for dairy farmers, and a very different business, but I think we found that it's 2 kinds of sides of the same coin as far as investors, right? There aren't as many investors around the world that are focused on ag tech, but the ones that are very laser focused on it, and there's actually, you have to look to find the right people, but the ones that are in it are very sophisticated, which is that makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully your relationships from the last business will be helpful.
Sounds good.
Any feedback from any farmers? Okay. Thanks so much. Great pitch. And our last pitch, before we go into our last pitch, right now, where are we standing on people who want to come up here and pitch? Because you've seen David gives great feedback, he's very nice, and he brought lots of cash. Okay, we need to see more people. You should be. mental karate. You have to be like, there you go. Great. So our last company to pitch is Michael Lavier with CDUP. I'm also a programmer, so I love software and technology. I think you're going to hear something like that. And the encouragement. Thank you.
So my name is Michael Lavier. I'm a programmer. That's what I was doing all day, actually. I'm a founder of a company called CDUP. It's a cloud application marketplace and ecosystem. It's essentially the Google Play Store for the cloud for developers. So right now there's no easy solution for somebody, a web developer, a cloud developer, to build something like Netflix or something like that and offer it in a marketplace environment like you can do with mobile apps. So you build a mobile app in Android Studio or Apple Xcode, gives you a great environment to build it and publish it and sell it and make money on your application. But right now, things like Google Chrome are kind of proliferating. Web applications is a big deal. So we built an application platform as a service, SaaS offering that lets developers sign up and instantly build applications and package and sell them through the cloud using virtualization and containers, things like Docker, and using on web services for packaging virtual machine environments with all your development tools. So all that said, basically a developer can come in, whether he's got his web app built or he's got a GitHub repository, and spin it up with a click and publish it, connect his Stripe account if you're familiar with Stripe, and sell it on a subscription. We automate all the DevOps. The whole subscription automation is done through our platform. So essentially, if you want a WordPress website, or something else that you want to use on the web, like a website or a theme or something like that, you could come to CDUP and go to his app in our marketplace like you would if you're in a mobile app, and click and have it. So there's a lot that goes into web applications like databases and DevOps and servers and scaling, and we automate all that with DevOps as a service, which is something we spent about 2 years building, and we've been launched since for about 5 months now. We have about 500 users, active users, and a couple of corporate alliances. We're all self-funded, and we have 3 engineers. My background is DevOps and architecture. I've been at some Fortune 100 companies, and I had my own interactive agency startup around 2004 that I sold. And my business partner built the prototypes for Foursquare and a couple other big social applications. And my other partner is a lawyer, which I think is important. So it's a big vision that we have, and we have, like I said, 500 users and some community users, and we're working on partnerships with other things you need when you build these giant monolithic applications in the cloud, so that users can come, click, and have maybe an entire WordPress site or a scalable e-commerce website with a single click, which is the way it should be, honestly, like mobile apps are.
I'm curious how much of there is a risk of, a developer comes in, launches a service, and starts to get some traction around it, that they then outgrow your platform and they want to eventually build it all kind of from the ground up. I mean, how much is the platform a kind of a starter way to get started versus something that they're going to use, for the length of building a company around it?
Yeah, it's meant to be scalable. So we're currently backed with Amazon Web Services. I know we're at Microsoft, sorry, but we want to use Azure. I like Azure, but it's meant to scale. So you can start, and we use virtualization Linux container environments. So we're able to scale single VMs, and we have a proprietary Docker clustering software that we use to do this. So if you start it, and we simplify the pricing, which is huge, because if you ever build a cloud application, the pricing is per hour, per usage. It's very confusing for a business user. So that's one of our things. And if you were to say, spin up you want an e-commerce site, you can click and do that if that's offered there. We offer some base stacks like LAMP stack, we offer WordPress and popular things like that, but you can click it and say pick like a $29 a month plan and then scale out to a pay per usage plan, which we automate the entire scaling piece of it. the thing that all these cloud providers kind of do, which, we use that technology, but we simplify it and run it in the background so that this has never been done before, but, in order, we want companies to be able to sell DevOps platforms, not just, I could sell a VM in the AWS Marketplace or Azure Marketplace, but I want to sell an e-commerce platform that scales to support 1 million people with clicks so that I don't need a DevOps engineer on my team where, automation is really the future of a lot of things. And we want developers and development companies to be able to sell entire infrastructure like you're saying. So if you wanted an application that wanted to scale to whatever you want, we automate the entire scaling of all the containers, the VMs, the load balancing, everything. That's what our platform does.
Yeah. And one question, it can be challenging to attract developers to any new platform. How do you overcome that initial friction? That's
Twitter. No, we're programmers, obviously, so we've dog fooded this for a long time, essentially about a year. On our own projects, our own clients, we're all mostly freelance. So, we've made sure it was very solid, like you said, because, anything a developer looks at or anything is always going to be, well, I could do this better, most of the time.
Yeah.
So, we spend a lot of time doing that ourselves, and our initial rollout was partnered, and we kept it very quiet because it's expensive to run and we're self-funded.
Yeah.
So we partnered with a couple local community people, YouTubers that do educational videos for things like building WordPress themes or building WordPress plugins. WordPress is a popular platform, so we kind of started with that. And partnered with a guy that does educational videos for that, which brought our first influx, and we worked off of feedback off of those user base and built features and off of that. And we've gotten all good feedback so far.
Great.
Yeah. Similar. Yeah.
I guess how do you handle ongoing development? So if someone puts their app on your platform, can they then just continue to push changes and versioning and that sort of thing, or once it's there, it's sort of locked down?
Yeah, we provide a browser-based IDE. So we have a browser-based IDE of our own. So you could literally, you don't need a development environment. Our thing is we've been in the world of building apps on our machine and then getting them up and then maintaining it, everything you're saying, which is a nightmare. It still is a nightmare. I don't know why, but so we provide a browser-based IDE, so you can program in your browser, but we also provide SSH access to the environments in the boxes and provide proxying in the background so that you can do whatever you want on your local environment. Because to his point, getting a developer to switch his environment, that's a pretty serious thing. You get bit. So we do provide that. We believe that's the future, using a browser, because I like to program on my Chromebook. And I don't want a big machine carried around, and I move around from different machines. So that's what we do.
Great job. Excellent. So now, who wants to pitch to David, please stand up. Don't be shy. Should be brave. Okay. Now David is going to say things like, whoever doesn't have $1 million in revenue, sit down, and then he's going to start eliminating people.
Okay, yeah.
And then at some point, when you get to maybe 5, maybe you can ask them, like a 10-second description. And then
Okay. If you don't have a co-founder, at least one other team member, I want you to sit down. You have another team member.
Solo founders, please
Solo
sit down.
founders. Solo founders. At least one of the founders is an engineer and has a tech background, is a developer.
People without an engineer co-founder, sit down.
All right. I think today I'm going to do, if you're a consumer app, stay up. So B2B, sit down.
Okay, non-consumer apps, sit down.
And then also, if you don't have a revenue model from day one, sit down. It needs to be a consumer app, not a B2B.
Okay. No line. Maybe you can ask them. So, what is your company in 10 seconds?
So my company is privatecupid.com. It's a dating app for single people.
That's enough. Okay.
So we're building the Amazon.
Okay.
Nation X, mobile first, shopping, driving up to bricks and mortar retail locations.
Networks, it's a professional social network to give business people the opportunity to network on the go.
It's the next American Apparel. The next American Apparel.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Anybody else? Yep.
Kabang, it's a social entertainment app that bridges the gap between photo and video.
Okay. I have a bias against photo apps, so let's go with Amazon for subscriptions. I'm curious about that.
Congrats. You have 3 minutes.
Great. Okay. So basically, subscriptions are becoming a lot more common. Sorry, I'm from New Zealand. You're wondering. Can't understand some of the things I say. So subscriptions are becoming very, very popular in our life, both from a personal point of view. News subscriptions, just so you know, most news websites are going to have to go behind paywalls. They're going to have to charge because the model for giving their content away for free with advertising doesn't work. So they will. It might not be expensive, but they are. And then there's magazines. There's cable decoupling. So there's lots of different cable networks that are offering their channels on their own that you can subscribe to through streaming, including as well music. And in the business space, there's also business news subscriptions and also business software. So all these subscriptions is going to be, it's not going to be uncommon for you as an individual to pay $50 a month towards personal subscriptions and have 3 or 4 business paid subscriptions. The problem with these is that lots of people drop off at the registration stage because they don't like filling in all their details. Secondly, people hate, I don't even need to ask people to put their hands up here because I know people hate having lots of usernames and passwords in their life. And for every different subscription, especially digital, you have to remember lots of passwords. Thirdly, something we didn't really realize is that when you lose your debit card, or if it expires, you have to update 8 or 10 different places on the internet with your card payment details. All of which aren't hugely big issues, but when you solve them all in one place, it's a very, very attractive and addictive platform. So our system, which is called GoSub, is a single platform like Amazon, where you store your payment, delivery address, and devices on your account, and then when you want to subscribe to anything, it's a simple 2-click process. 2 clicks for HBO Go, 2 clicks for Spotify, 2 clicks from the New York Times, 2 clicks for Vanity Fair, and if your business, and this is where the business becomes a monopoly, when your business wants to subscribe you to a business publication, the Wall Street Journal, American Lawyer Monthly, Zendesk, they say, John, what's the email address you use for your GoSub account? And John says it's john.smith@gmail.com. Copy and paste that into a box, click add, and then all of a sudden Zendesk turns up on your account, or the Wall Street Journal. And if you leave the company, they just click X next to your name, and it stops, and they stop paying for you. And it's a very simple process to add people to business subscriptions. Businesses only want you as their employees to be on one single platform. They don't want to say, John, are you with this platform, or are you with that? So inherently, it becomes a monopoly if you get and build the system first. So that's what we're basically doing at the moment. I guess that's probably near enough 3 minutes, but yeah.
I think there's clearly a trend towards consumer subscription. I like playing into that mega trend. I wonder on the consumer side if you listed probably 10 benefits, right? And I wonder what is the one you want to lead with, right? Is it solving the pain point of managing payment? Is it about discovery? Is it about handing it off to your employer so they'll pay for everything? There's all these different benefits, but I wonder what's the hook that you lead with when you're trying to acquire customers?
So the hook that we would lead with personal users is the 2-click subscription process. It's literally you come to a site that you want the content for, and it's got a hard paywall, and it says, read this, you must subscribe, and let's say you want to subscribe. Just like when you buy stuff on Seamless, if you can purchase it with 2 clicks, then you'll do it, and if you can't, you won't. There's a lot of people that say, I'm happy to give $5 to get that content, but I'm just too lazy, and I'll do it another day. And just like people, they know they buy lots of stuff on Seamless because it's simple. And they probably spend more money on Seamless than they probably would like to, but it's just so easy. So that's the initial hook for personal users. The business side.
On Amazon, I had to turn off one-click ordering because
it's too impulsive.
Too easy,
Too impulsive, right? So that's exactly the same.
I'm not joking. I had to turn it off.
Yeah, and that's just playing to human nature. The second part is the business side. Is a lot of people will create an account on our platform at the beginning, not because they want to necessarily, but because their employer has asked them to. It says, John, we're going to subscribe you to these subscriptions now moving forward on this single platform where we can add you to everything with 1 click and delete you with 1 click and add you to some and not all very, very easily, and you can have it across all your devices, not just IP addressed at work, but everything. So can you take 30 seconds to go create an account on the system, click the skip button where you put your credit card details in, because you don't have to do that right now because we're paying, and then send Susan or Andy, whoever's running the account, your email address, and then they add it. So you get lots of these people creating these accounts over time, let's say the first year or two, via their businesses, and then you start drip feeding the consumer titles into the system, and they say, hey, this is an easy place for me to manage all my subscriptions. A lot of people say, I forget half the things I'm subscribed to, right? And things like that. It's nice to have, this is just one of the secondary benefits. It's nice to have a dashboard with everything that you are subscribed to in your life.
I wonder if there might be more of a pain point even on the business side as end user subscriptions, not just of content, but of software subscriptions permeate the enterprise, that central CFO that has no idea what's going on with the tentacles of their organization, who's being subscribed to what, and not getting into the price.
It's unbelievable. You aren't even imagine how painful business subscriptions are for both users and the publishers. And at the end of the day, publishers, most access is login based, and they know. They don't want to say it, but they know. Exactly. One person subscribes and everyone uses that same subscription and they miss out on a lot of money. If they can change access from login-based to device-based, everybody wins. No usernames and passwords. Everyone has to pay fairly. The CFO can see everyone that subscribes. Simple, easy. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Any questions?
How are you securing the data? You have a security expert in the team?
We have a CTO, yeah.
But security, you have like credit cards.
No. We use Braintree. Yeah, so they hold credit card details sort of separately, but that's a very broad-based question, and there's a whole lot more that I don't know enough about to be able to say, moving forward, how we're going to secure data beyond Braintree, doing what they do. They're a very good company, but yeah, there's probably one question maybe you might be asking, which is how do we make money? It's a very, very simple process. We're basically just a retailer. So we charge, on average, about 10% to the publishers. So it's free for everybody to use, personal and business, and we just charge 10%. And that's a lot cheaper than Apple does, which is 30%, which is where a lot of people subscribe to news in particular, because it's simple. And so publishers, they hate the fact that people subscribe via iTunes, because they lose 30%, they get no audience data, and yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you next month. David will be here maybe for a couple more minutes, so you can just go and say hi. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.